He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch. We should answer some of these questions. Before we get hop on another hour tangent.
Another 1 hour tangent. As much as we're going to go for the questions. Let's see. What do we have?
Let's see what the questions are like.
I should have put the questions in an order. This is something that I'm going to start doing now, though. I'm going to start going out and I am going to ask everybody weekly what questions they want. So the first question we have here is time real? This is one of those questions where I feel like I'm not really qualified to answer it. I don't know if Verse is qualified to answer it.
I'll answer it though anyway. So what is time? Well, here, all right. Actually, I'll make even a less philosophical point. I'll make a more concrete point because I was about to go off in like some Heidegger shit. But how about instead we just talk about this is a crypto podcast, and I would say that like the block time is real insofar as like the Bitcoin block time, or like. I'd say Bitcoin's probably the more accurate one. Like time is real, especially in like the context of the internet, because we have a objective standard for time, and that being like Bitcoin, blocks being mined or Ethereum blocks being mined or whatever. This creates like a standardized form of time. And since the internet is everything, there's no like online offline dualism anymore. The internet is like our fucking like rulers and masters. I would say yes. The answer is yes.
I would say maybe. I would say maybe based on the fact that it seems people. I mean, there's the classic meme, right? Like you do, you fast for 2 days and you expand time, right? You do keto. You don't even have to fast necessarily. It's carbs. If you have low carbs for a long time, suddenly your 24-hour day becomes like a 36, becomes like a 48-hour day. And that
makes sense.
I don't really know how that one happens, but like it's one of those things.
Low metabolism. It's kind of like hibernation, or maybe not. Maybe it's the opposite.
I don't know. I don't know if you're going hummingbird.
It would increase your metabolism. Yeah, because it would have to be hummingbird mode for time to slow down.
But like it appears to apply also to like accomplishments, right? Like I bang out a lot more shit if I'm not like snacking and eating, or I'm not having carbs throughout the time.
True. Well, also the novelty thing, right? The more like if you do the either routine tasks or like solid tasks for long periods of time feels like it's going faster. But if you do like segmented tasks, like 30-minute chunks and do like a million different things, it'll feel like the day was infinitely long, right? So you can just block your time really well on a day and you'll feel like you have way more hours in the day. And you'll be like begging for the day to end.
Begging and pleading, screaming.
It's like, please fucking, yeah, like when I sit around and watch read manga all day, the day goes by, like I look up and it's like 1 a.m., Whereas if I go outside.
With amphetamines too, where if you take like any stimulant really, like caffeine, Adderall, whatever, then, everybody's familiar with the meme, right? Of you take your pill, you eat your breakfast, and then you look down at your watch and it's suddenly 3 p.m. and you're like, what the?
You delete it. Like, the second you take that pill, that first hour is deleted. I don't know where it goes. I've tried to keep it like conscious awareness of what's happening, but that first hour is gone. So
I think there's got to be a way that you can like trick yourself into not know, like what? This is gonna be bad, but like what if you had your girlfriend bake you like scones, right? And like 50% of the scones had like an Adderall in them, or like an equivalent dosage of Adderall. And so you didn't know necessarily when you ate one. And like, especially if she didn't tell you, right? Like if you didn't know that you were on Adderall, would that still happen?
Absolutely. I feel like that's one of those drugs that like you can feel. You know what I mean? It's not like a subtle thing.
You can feel it, but like the average person, I think, who doesn't have like a ton of experience with drugs, is not really great at like, like if you were to give them like 10 milligrams of amphetamine, I don't think they would necessarily like.
When they start taking a shit, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm on Adderall.
But like, if they didn't take Adderall and they didn't know that their girlfriend baked them Adderall scones, why would they ever think they might Adderall?
I know. Maybe.
I don't know. This is one of those things that I really want to test. Actually, is like, are people still going to get distracted and do all this other weird shit if they, if they get like?
I think you get distracted more if you don't, because if you don't start off on the right task, then you just delete 4 hours on a task that you didn't mean to use it on. You know?
Yeah, dude. I've been trying to make like a Python Twitter reply scraper recently, and I totally understand why there's like the there's the weed coders and there are the amphetamine coders. Like, it makes so much sense now, and it's very clear to me that like, this is the, like, if you're going to be doing some sort of really, really disgusting, like, slave grunt labor coding, you're going to be using amphetamines, right? And it's going to be the only thing. Yeah. It's not even like you're going to see it as speeding up your work. It's going to be like, this is the only thing that makes it feel like your 12 hours of work isn't expanded into 60, right? Like, yeah, because the awful nature of the work acts as like a reverse Adderall, right? Like, it takes so much time to accomplish absolutely nothing when you're going through the whole thing, that like you need to speed it up, or else you will anhero. Like, you will end it all. You will jump off a building. You will drive a motorcycle at 200 miles per hour straight into a light pole.
That's me. The weed coders are the people who actually enjoy the fucking monotony of it. It's like that guy who like gets calm doing puzzles. It's like, what's wrong with you? Those people are like fucking alien to me. I like a good, I obviously have I studied math in school, so I like a good puzzle, right? But the people it doesn't calm me down. It's like a spite thing. It's like, I have to solve the puzzle, otherwise my self-concept's destroyed, right? There's like, it's all anger, it's all aggression. There's no calmness involved in like a puzzle solve for me, right? So I don't understand people like that. So people who smoke weed and they're like, oh, let me just explore, like my best friend's like this. Oh, let me just smoke weed and let me just explore some concept. Oh, I want to try to build something, and he'll just do it for hours and have a great time. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, no, it's not good, man. It's not a good time. It's not, I don't know. Weed is just,
but that's my natural mode. I'm a natural explorer, right? I like to surf the net. Surfing the net has been my favorite thing to do since I was a child. I'll just browse, I'm a browser. I don't need fucking weed for that. I need Adderall though, because Adderall lets me hone in on some shit I don't feel like doing, which I naturally just don't have the, I have the willpower if it's like, if there's like a reason, but if there's no reason, I just not going to do it.
I think a lot of the Adderall benefit also is just keeping you awake. And like, weed is the opposite.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I mean, I can sleep on Adderall. I can I'll literally take Adderall and take a nap in the middle of the day.
For real?
It doesn't affect my sleep.
Dude, I've always heard this from people. And even when I had like a massive giga, like literal meth tolerance, I could never do that shit. Like, I would be.
Yeah, it doesn't affect
like
me whatsoever.
Just hours and hours just lying in bed being like, wow, it would be epic if I could fucking fall asleep right now. Like,
I wish.
Like 6 a.m. on like a Sunday, and I'm lying there like before class, like, wow, I sure would like to go to sleep right now, man. That would be very cool.
I used to try to take Adderall in the middle at night, and it just wouldn't work. Like, I just would still fall asleep. Like,
was your sleep shittier? I'm noticing also. So I don't know if you can tell, but I've been eating. I have a dried ghost pepper here in a bag. And
You're eating a dried ghost pepper?
I've been chewing on the skin of this dried ghost pepper here, and like, it's totally clogged my nose up. It's been getting worse and worse, but we're now at the point where like, there's absolutely no way that I can like breathe through my nose. So my already fairly nasally voice is experiencing something of like a like a nasality steroid effect, right?
I didn't notice, so that's very funny. Do you know what type of peppers are in Indian food? I've been trying to figure this out.
Honestly, I honestly thought that they just did like standard like jalapenos and red peppers and shit, and they just had like a fuck ton of them. I might be totally wrong. Maybe they have like reapers or some exotics in there, but
I think they have something a little more exotic than that. I mean, like I saw, because I got Indian food here, and I asked for it extra spicy because I always do. But I like
They never
jalapenos don't
give
even
it to you either. They always scam you.
No, they do. They said this place does it. You have to like kind of earn their respect first.
That's funny.
It's a whole process. But like I was trying to figure out what pepper they put into it because that makes a difference. Because like jalapenos wouldn't register for me. Habanero, it would be orange and I would recognize, but it's also like I'm kind of used to that now too. It's some kind of alien pepper. So I wonder if it was like a specific Indian type of pepper, but I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really looked too much into Indian food, honestly. That's been one of those cuisines that I've just like totally ignored. Like I really do like a lot of the Chinese stuff, like a lot of the spicy Chinese dishes or Korean ones, I like a lot. Indian stuff to me always like I know this isn't necessarily the case in all situations, but it has kind of a stigma to me where I assume like, you know, like the reason that it's spicy is they're trying to cover up a bunch of like other shit. And whereas like Chinese spice like actually like adds to the thing, and it's not like we're putting this in here as like an intentional masking effect to like cover up the fact that our like meat is expired or something.
Oh, well, I never eat it. I almost always get vegetarian Indian food. Mostly because
I'm not necessarily saying that like it's going to be rotten when you yourself make it, but I'm saying that like the reason that it's included in the recipe is not because it makes it taste better as much as it is because it's used
for
as
preserving.
Like yeah. Whereas like
it's preservative. Yeah.
I don't really think that that's the case with a lot of like Asian dishes. Although, dude, did you? This was another really funny timeline thing that happened. That AJA Cortez guy. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So he went to India and he was posting some pictures and videos of things that he saw in India, right? And one of these things was like he was outside on the street and he just saw like cows walking around. And he said like to everyone saying that they just have cows walking around, yep, they just have cows walking around. They're just everywhere. And just, he was just posting like a bunch of observations like this, and all like the entire continent of India. It's not a continent, but whatever. The entire country,
it's a subcontinent.
It's big enough that we might as well call it a continent. But the entire the entire land, the entire region of India, I guess, has gone to war with him, right? And they're like That's calling him like an evil hater and saying like, oh well, like the only reason that like everyone is like shitting on the streets and there's cows walking around is because like America colonized us and stuff. And he's like going off and he's like citing all of these statistics on like Indians and their like low T levels and their like low protein consumption and stuff like this, and just like batting them away with a stick. And it's been going on for like 3 days now. Like he's just been his whole timeline has just been him quote tweeting.
That's wild.
Quote tweeting random Indian accounts, like fending them off.
That's so funny. I think his wife is Indian.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's so funny. I mean, yeah, he hasn't even been like, he's not even being like unfair or mean to them. They're just like the world's most sensitive demographic. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't understand. I mean, the Indian food it is not ideal dietary to eat it every day. They have like the highest rate of diabetes or something.
It's literally all carbs.
It's all carbs, yeah. It's like insanely high glycemic index. But that's why I like it though, because it's like my comfort food. If I'm feeling like shit, right? I'm just like I feel like I'm in a bad mood. How do I make myself in a good mood? Like I need like some bullshit that's gonna like fill me up and I'm gonna be excited about it. You get an Indian food. It's like the whole comfort food meme. But it's also spicy, so it's like a whole it gives you like a rush while you eat it too.
Yeah, I really do like the spicy. I don't know, any food that is like spicy and like soupish is really that's a double thumbs up for me, man. Like all of the Korean stews and shit like that, like the oxtail stew, the hangover stew, that shit just hits so fucking hard.
And I just like anything you can just like pour over rice and like accentuate the rice, because I'm a rice guy. I grew up in a rice family. I eat rice every day practically. There's rice people and there's bread people. I'm a rice person, that kind of thing. But so anything that can accentuate rice, I feel like I'm like, oh hell yeah. It's like it's exciting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I like
stews. You pour stews on rice. I guess you put rice in stews. I put rice in the curries, rice into whatever.
I'm gonna try and go like really low glycemic index recently. or not recently, here for a bit and see how that makes me feel, because I've been reading about some interesting metabolic disorders that you can get, and I think that I might have one.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, it's some sort of like insulin resistant thing that basically like makes it very hard to put on weight, I guess. And I managed to like brute force putting on like a bunch of muscle, I guess. But like I've been trying to like put on a little bit more fat here recently, just because like I want to do more fasting and stuff. And it's not really super feasible to be fasting when you're already really lean, because you just like jack the shit out of your cortisol levels. And it's like fucking impossible. Like I can't like I'm literally eating like pounds of fucking beef brisket a day and like all of this like rice and carbs and shit, and like I am just not gaining any weight. So I'm
lucky. You're lucky. Many people would call this lucky, but in this particular case, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have a metabolic disorder though.
Well, I think I do actually, because I've been testing my blood levels or my blood glucose levels, and it looks like, I mean, one of the telltale signs is that you get into like pre-diabetic blood glucose spike levels, and I do. So I don't know. This is something I've only been reading about for the last like, I don't know, half day or so. So I haven't really super autism dived
analyzed it.
Yeah, but
I need to get my blood levels checked out actually, because I don't know. I can kind of have a sense for when I'm doing well and when I'm doing like shit, and I'm glad that I had my little research chem drop 10, 15 pounds thing, because I could tell, I was like, things are going incorrect right now. Now I'm feeling like vibrant again. So I got to see what's going on. I got to see if I'm right. I was getting a little too chunky there.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that I was reading. I found this one it wasn't like a repeat forum post, but it was this guy who he found a bunch of studies that correlated like different metabolic syndromes to hair thinning on different parts of your head. Like if you have hairline receding at your temples, it means you have like this, and it's not, it doesn't like mean that but it's highly correlated with like X, Y, and Z metabolic disorders. If you have hair loss at your temple or at your vertex, it's like correlated with A, B, and C disorders. If you have like diffuse thinning, it's correlated with like 3 other disorders or stuff like that. Like it was like a full map saying, and the basic idea was that like the region that you bald from is not necessarily a like it's not like a genetic thing as much as it is like a metabolic thing. And there were people who like would have the so like there would be people who would have all of the things necessary for you to have like a full head of hair, and they would not have a full head of hair if they had like 1 or 2 of these other conditions, right? Like they would have like no family history of balding, no genetic markers for it, and they would still wind up balding if they had like these metabolic conditions. Which, like, I mean, this is kind of makes sense, right? Because like we have, like, if you look at the overall sample of the population, like people are going bald earlier, and there's a lot more of them, and it's like this wouldn't make sense, because why would the baldness gene have randomly like done a 5x in representation in the population?
Yeah, especially because people would be selecting against it.
Yeah, like so it obviously has to be some sort of like an environmental, like behavioral factor, right? And a lot of them were saying that this was really funny. I found another big post that said like, look at sumo wrestlers. Sumo wrestlers all have literally childlike hairlines. Like they have like a 7-year-old's hairline. And what they do every morning is they wake up, they do like 5 hours of exercise, and then they eat like 7,000 calories. And they were saying that a lot of what happens is like the blood glucose spikes are bad, and they are like explicitly toxic to like hair follicles and stuff like that. And the reason that the sumo wrestlers avoid them is because when they do their 5 hours of exercise in the morning, you know, your body has like various buffers for like glycogen absorption. So if you exercise, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to burn off your muscle glucose or your muscle glycogen, which is like a like it's an intracellular store of glucose basically for fuel. And then it will start burning off your visceral fat, and then it will start burning off your subcutaneous fat. And it's reverse that for when you're like adding and refilling like supplies and stuff like that. So when all of these sumo wrestlers would go and they would deplete their fuel sources this much, and then they can go and eat after, and it doesn't go the glucose that they eat in their meal doesn't go to spiking their blood glucose. It goes to refilling the drained subcutaneous fat and then refilling their intercellular glycogen. And only if you eat like more than would be needed to refill the glycogen does it actually go into the blood and start circulating.
Interesting. So the what do you call here is to do some fasted cardio. Is that what
I think? Yeah, I mean, I think the meme is just fasted cardio is good. That appears to be, but also sumo wrestlers all develop diabetes as soon as they stop doing this. So
yeah, of course.
Like, I don't know. There's probably some ups and downs with all of this.
I would say you could probably stop before you get to 7,000 calorie breakfasts. I mean, you could probably do.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a little bit of an overkill move. I don't know. It seems to be though that exercise is probably pretty important, and
real.
Yeah, and like the purpose of exercise not necessarily being like, I mean, it's twofold, right? So exercise, strength training is good because increased muscle mass means that you have increased buffer zone in your intramuscular glycogen retention, right? So like if you have 20 pounds of lean muscle versus 40 pounds, the person with 40 pounds has twice the ability to buffer an increase in glycogen supply. So like if you were to eat a big sugary meal, the person with more glycogen storing capacity can store twice as much of that before it starts spilling over and spiking your blood sugar, right? So that's good. So strength-based exercise is good for that. But then cardio is also good because it drains your glycogen supplies and allows you to eat more of it without spiking blood. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I got to get back into cardio life. I hate cardio though. Fuck
it really
cardio.
does. I'm trying to figure out too, like what is, like what do I want to be doing for cardio? Because I've tried so many different things, and like
it's just always just miserable.
The honest answer,
there's no fucking answer.
Yeah. Like the honest answer is like I like sprints, right? But like I look like a fucking crazy person if I go in my backyard and I start doing like ladder sprints, right? Like,
suicides.
I just look like a weird freak in my neighborhood. So I've been trying to avoid doing that. I guess I could. Jump rope is fine. I guess it's whatever.
I tried jump rope, but what ends up happening with jump rope. Either I don't want to go outside and do it in public, and I look like a fucking psycho. I do it on my balcony, and then like I'll do it until I just want to do it long enough. I guess because I start feeling
it's just boring. It's fucking boring, dude. Like jumping rope is boring as shit.
You only have to do it for 10 minutes though. But imagine if I like. And you can't keep the headphones on because they always fall off. So I'm playing. I don't know.
I know, and then you have to like play music on your phone, like some sort of like obnoxious, like train person
just
or something
much.
Like that.
Train person.
Yeah.
Just and then
you're like a New York subway goer. You're like out there with your phone on like max volume, just like.
Yeah, and then you just fucking look like a fucking dickhead. And no, it's just not good. It's really hard to do the jump rope, even though it is probably the optimal. Just due to the fact that you don't have to do it as long. For me, whatever I could, I used to do HIIT sprints and stuff.
It's clearly the best, right? And like I love tennis as like like I play tennis. That's my like sport that I still do now. But the thing is, like, it's really inefficient, right? Like if I were to do dedicated sprints for like 8 minutes, I would get the same amount of running in as like a full set of tennis. And like I love tennis, but I don't have like 2 hours every day to play tennis, right? Like I'm not, like it's just a lot of time to be spending on that stuff.
The 1 minute sprint, 30-second rest thing, that shit is fucking golden, bro. It's just so like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just hard to do
your ass. And you feel, I don't know, sprints are also like, everything else I do, it's like, well, I technically elevated my heart rate to 165 for this long, but like with sprints, I actually feel like, okay, like I did something, right? Like I feel something the next day. The other thing is like I have one of those bikes, right? The ones with the like massive metal flywheels that you sit on there, and it's like a belt driven thing, and it's something like a stationary bike basically.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
That's fucking
so much ass.
It's so inefficient, dude. You'll be on there for an hour. And
yeah, like literally, I have to sit there. And it takes like 15 minutes to get my heart rate up above like 120 at like half of the And the other thing is like you can turn the resistance up so high that like it does increase your heart rate faster, right? Like it does do that. However,
but your legs get tired and then you can't do it for a fucking hour.
Yeah, it winds up being a fucking like quad workout or something. You're just like, okay.
It's so bad. I hate it. I tried to do cycling for so long just because I was like, oh, it's less impact on my knees, but it just doesn't work. The sprints are the most efficient. They work the best. It's just a pain in the ass to do. And
you look like a freak. You look like a try-hard freak.
A freak.
You look like an ROTC guy wearing your fucking your fucking camouflage shorts, like running up and down in the winter, going to bars, telling everybody how bro, I don't get cold, bro. Like I don't feel the cold anymore after the things I've seen.
Even worse than that, imagine when you do it on fucking what's the word, on like a treadmill, and you fucking go between like walking for 30 seconds and like hitting the fucking like up speed up to like fucking 7 whatever, and then you're running really hard for a minute, and people just look at you like a psycho, man.
God, dude, treadmills are so evil. I don't know what it is, but somehow like running 3 miles on not a treadmill feels like it's not a burden at all. It's totally easy. And then you get on a treadmill and you try and run like 1 mile and you're just like dying. You feel like depressed.
Mm-hmm.
You see you have like suicidal ideations that creep in, right? Like you imagine like you're driving a car and you're like swerving off to the side of the bridge and just like going over I don't know what it is. It's just the most miserable thing in the entire world.
I used to just think about all the things I hated in life and just I'm trying to just use it as like a anger management, but now I'm not 25 anymore, so I don't have anger like I used to. I just don't, so I can't even run like that.
Yeah, it's so. And I mean, like rowing. I think rowing is actually better than bicycling in terms of like, you're actually gonna do something. But it's also one of those meme things where it's like you literally have to do like fucking 40 minutes of rowing to get your heart rate up above like the range you're trying to.
Yeah, it's just way too much effort. Like. It's just too much time.
I know, and I'm sitting there like I'm like fucking old, and I don't even like do a bunch of health shit now. Like, how is my heart rate this low when I've been sitting here doing like some sort of activity for like 30 minutes, dude? Like, I should have fucked my shit up. I did so many drugs as a kid. I was like incredibly unhealthy, and now I'm sitting here like desperately trying to get my heart rate above like 90 beats per minute. Like, what the fuck?
It's bullshit, dude. I will say that it's just all these cardio just sucks is the problem. But yeah, jump rope is the most time efficient. It's very time efficient, and if you can stomach it for 10 minutes, it's basically the same as doing HIIT. Like as far as like efficiency, you basically have to do 10 minutes either way.
The only thing with jump roping too is that it's like extremely depressing because like I'll be thinking about like, okay, so like what is this actually making me better at, right? Like, like at least when I'm sprinting, I can tell myself like, wow, base, like if someone starts chasing me with a knife, I'm at least going to be like faster, right? Like I'm going to be better at getting away from them. Whereas when I'm like jumping rope, I'm just thinking like, what is this making me better at? Like what physical skill is this improving? What am I putting my spec points into right now with this jump roping? Because it doesn't seem like it's something that I really should care that much about.
Yeah, you're putting your spec points into pure endurance, but nothing.
There's never a point where there's going to be a guy with a knife who pulls it out and he says like, "Jump over this rope 10,000 times without tripping on it, or I'm going to stab you."
Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. It does. I like it though a little bit because I have really poorly developed calves. And so I do like that your calves are shredded afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
that's nice. Then I can feel like I'm doing like good old fashioned Olympia shit, like the classic, whatever they call it, classic bot or whatever. Where like they were always like calves are the most important parts.
Is that real?
Yeah, because like for like the old, I don't know what the name of the category is, like the classic but natural bot, the old one. Like the calves definition is like what they always used to look for. That's so like funny. Very difficult. It helps with your silhouette. So I tell myself that that's
That was always like the fat guy category. Like everybody who's previously been fat has like massive calves forever. That's
exactly
right. This is why like Ozempic is like fucking up the world, right? Like you can take the injection to lose the weight, but like you can't you know, you can't use Ozempic like this because it will make your fat calves go away because it dissolves all your muscle too. So now like nobody can tell that you were fat before, and you don't get any of the positive aspects of it.
So Ozempic, it sounds like it's so what's the deal with Ozempic? Is it actually worthwhile?
I mean, I think this shit is
start dropping dead.
Like, and like I don't know, like I haven't actually read anything about it, but just like my gut feeling with all of this stuff is like God is not going to give us a get out of jail free card this massive, right? Like he's not going to say like, yeah, you can just be like unhealthy, fucked up losers forever and then just take this shot and then you'll be hot, right? Like life doesn't work like that. There has to be some.
I mean, you're
sort
probably
of
get like pancreatitis
downside
or something.
Yeah. Like you have to be like maybe it will
Something
make you hot,
related.
but there has to be some sort of like heinous downside to it. And maybe it's not going to like kill you, but it's going to have to. It's going to be like at least a moderate sacrifice to your like quality of life long term.
It's like what's that shit? That Accutane stuff.
Yeah.
Like you get that
like you
demonic shot.
You can right. You can theoretically get rid of all your acne forever. However, you're
gonna get like deep bone pain and fucking like
right. Like it permanently decreases your like entire body's ability to like lubricate itself in a way that like winds up fucking you for like 30 years down the line.
Yeah. Trade-offs in life.
Yeah.
Speaking of trade-offs, what is our next question?
Next question. Yeah, dude, we've totally
like that is.
we have totally forgotten. So we have. What do you guys think of Twitter user Sweet Little AP? And I responded to him saying, "You should come on the show sometime." I think he's.
We like Sweet Little AP.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, shout out to AP.
What does the ideal woman look like to y'all? I thought this was a great question that I don't know how much we're going to be able to answer about this.
Our ideal woman looks like our girlfriends. Next question. Next question.
See, I was gonna say that also, but then I was like, we can't even like describe them because it's like
because then
right, because then it's like we're like girlfriend doxing and shit like that. So it's rough because that is a very good question, but it's a very unanswerable question simultaneously. But I think the important thing to take away from this is that for any man, the ideal woman can look like anything, right? And any guy who's saying, oh, my type is X, it's
homosexual.
Like, I don't want to say homosexual necessarily, but I will say a little bit delusional, right? Like it's like, a meme, dude. Like I can meme any guy. If you were to give me and my two friends who have like similar tastes in women, and you were to just drop any one random guy into our friend group for 2 weeks, I could make him like exactly the same type of women as we do, just through sheer social pressure, right? Like it would not, like I wouldn't even have to try to do it; it would just naturally happen. And this isn't like an unusual thing. Like I would have to find like a super malleable guy to make this happen.
Is
like
mimetic rivalry.
Yeah, this is just
attractiveness stuff is pure mimetics. It's like we all want what other people have or what we think we should have. It's like it's read Gerard. Yeah, Rene Girard.
Yeah, anyone who has some other male friend who likes them has the ability to influence their perception. There are weird, freakish, rare exceptions, right? I appear to be the type of natural contrarian who will just want to always disappoint everyone who's trying to influence my preferences this way. However, they can still use that to they just have to reverse the inputs, right? Like they can still get me if they all know, oh, he's a contrarian. We just have to 180 it, right? Like it will, they can probably still do that. My girlfriend's always like terrified that if I hang out with like there's like one of my friends who like he like likes girls who are like a totally different thing than her, and she's like always worried that if I like talk to this guy too much, I'm gonna like break up with her or something. But like that's like an actual that's an actual reasonable thing for like women to be afraid of. Not me specifically because I am too annoying and contrarian, but
simple as.
And you can test this.
Thank you for that question.
And you should test this. You should test this, actually. You should go and you should
you should definitely test this.
You should find one of your friends who seems to be looking up to you a lot, and like, let's say he's coming to you asking for like cryptocurrency or like investment or like life advice, and you should give him like 80% life advice, and then like 20% you should just talk about how like girls who have like small asses are the best or something like that. Like you should literally just like do this and like watch over the course of like 6 weeks. I guarantee you, whatever you say, he is going to start being sexually attracted to it.
It's true. Listen, I've memed all my friends into feet, so
you haven't memed me into feet.
No, which you're psycho anyway. Whoever you probably liked them.
No, I've never been super into the feet, but I've always had like a I don't know. Like I'm fine. I'm fine with feet people. You know, like I don't really get grossed out by any of you people. It's one of those things that like, you know, like there's a lot of people who think of like the feet people as being some like gross outlier of like the tits and ass people. And I sort of like lump them all in, right? Like they're you know, it's all sort of the same thing. Right?
It is all sort of the same.
And this is a good segue.
They're like what's his name? The Ron Paul voters of the tits and ass election. You know?
Yeah,
they're always there.
The Libertarian
the
Party, right? That like, they're always going to get. They're always going to get like 4% of the general vote, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Like you can tell them you can tell them that they should be voting for one of the two major parties because the feet, that's not a serious party, but like they don't care. They'll never listen.
They don't
to you.
care at all, bro. Exactly.
This leads well into the next question, though, which is why feet, which I presume is directed towards verse.
That's for me. I don't know if I should give the real answer. Well,
I know the real answer, and it's a funny story.
Yeah, the real answer is it's a good story. It's just that it's a little too doxing.
Yeah.
But effectively, I'll give you a little more abstract answer, that being that
he was psyoped into it.
For the time,
he was psyoped into it at a young age.
That's true too. Yes, but I think more I wasn't going to go that way. The direction I was going to go instead was that feet are more of a inherent ability. At least at the moment, people aren't like changing their feet in the way that like they're like injecting their lips with stuff or injecting their cheeks or sucking things out and That's the more innate trait of someone. And then the way that people take care of their feet or like the way that they are presented, it gives you a good insight on the person. Because it's unlikely to have been altered.
That sounds like coke. That sounds like something that would never make me attracted to a body part in my entire life.
Not why either,
that's a retroactive justification for why you're attracted to.
Yes, it is retroactive rationalization. But the real answer is pretty straightforward. It's actually a very logical thing. It's just that it's a little too specific because of how specific my upbringing is. You would find it. You could like it's too much information. Just know it's very. The situation is very.
Versus
organic.
Dad was a shoe salesman.
I grew up from a young age fitting people's feet at a shoe store. Yeah,
that could be rough. Yeah, I don't know.
That'd actually be pretty funny.
I mean, what you get with there, that sort of gets to like my thing, right? Like my thing is like bone structure. That's my if you were to like tits, ass, or feet, Lucas, me, the answer would be like bone structure, which is like, you know, like proportions, the like torso to like leg ratio. You kind of get you allude to it a little bit with like feet in that like there's an unchangeable structure here, right? Like women you can't really fraud your bone structure. It's pretty clear like what your like typing is, right? Like the example is like, if you're clearly like a big girl and you have like you know, like a very wide like curvy bone structure, and then you try to become like anorexic, it's going to look like total horse shit on you, because that's not like you're trying to spec into the wrong class. I think we like talked about this some in like podcast episode number 4 or something. Yeah. And if you have like a really petite, like small bone structure and you gain like a bunch of weight, it's going to look like giga shitty on you because your body just cannot hold fat well. So like you have to, you've kind of got to accept what God gave you, and you got to work where you belong. Yeah.
So true.
Accept your cast.
Accept your cast. Exactly. What's the next question? Good question though. Thank you guys.
What tweet do you regret the most?
What tweet do I regret?
I saw
the most?
everybody was doing like, oh, this is my most regretted tweet, and it was all kind of like funny stuff. The only really funny one that I saw was some guy saying like, the tweet that I regret the most is this one, and he posted like, so there was this coin called Jewel.
Oh, Anthem.
It wound up going from like 3 cents to like $20, and at one point it dropped from $20 to $10 in like 12 hours, and some guy during that drop posted like, I know by the end of the year Jewel is going to be trading over $100, so I'm not really concerned with this minor degree of price action. And then instead of going to $100, what it actually did was go straight from 20 to 10 to like 0. Like it just fucking died. So it wound up being I don't know, maybe not the best call, right?
Not the best call at all. No, I did see that tweet. That's very funny. I don't really have any regrets per se. Maybe one of the, I mean, I guess I have a similar thing where like I said that I didn't understand loot, and I bought it and I sold it at 0.088, and then it went to 12 ETH the next day, like the same weekend. Yeah, I bought loot. I minted it for free. I think it was free. And I held it for like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't know why I have this. And I was like, and I sold it for 0.088. And I remember this very clearly. And then that was on a Thursday night at like 5 a.m. And then I woke up like Saturday morning and it was like 12 ETH. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, fuck me then.
That was like $70,000 at the time, wasn't it?
I sold like the literal bottom. The chart, it went from where I sold it to like fucking moon instantly. So that was the worst.
I don't have any. I don't know. I only ever tweet my like bad plays after I do them. Like I know. The only calls that I've ever made like beforehand wound up being really good. Like I told people to buy Wojak. I didn't tell them to buy Wojak. I said, I bought Wojak, and if you wanted to copy me, it seems like now might be the time. And then it went up like 4x or something. Was my like most recent one. But like all of the ones that I post are like after I've already like lost like 95% of my money on it.
Yeah. So that one I thought I like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking I had like a lot of profit because the minting cost and blah, blah, blah. I sold it in profit. And I just was like, I don't know if I get this. And then, so I thought it was over. It just, I thought wrong is all. There are times, also I have like, I think I tweeted about Bored Apes when they were like 2 ETH about how they're never going to do anything. And they went to like 100 something. So
wait another year though, and that tweet's actually going to be goated.
Yes,
because they're going to be 2 ETH again.
Because I remember it was like around like right after they mint, like just after they minted out. And I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. It's fine. I missed something. Oh, no, I think it was like a tweet. It was like, everyone's been talking about these fucking apes. And this is like the dumbest piece, like just dumb shit. And then it went to 1 million. So I guess I regret those tweets. But ultimately, none of the tweets that you guys expect me to regret. I don't regret any of the gross ones or the ones that get 0 likes. In fact, I applaud if I can get a tweet that has 0 likes or something nowadays. It's like so funny to me. It's like I can
have to just like flat out like horrifying like thousands of people. Like it has to
exactly.
be like the worst, lowest quality content. I'm wondering. This is gonna be. I'm gonna have to try this now. I want to see if I can actually tweet something that gets 0 likes.
Bro, I bet if I did
like a super long post about like what would be like the most unlikable topic of all time?
It has to be something like almost trivial.
Like it has to be one of those autism rabbit holes that like is like it's overdone. Like it has to be like the equivalent of like posting about like model trains. Like something that's like so like, oh wow, like this is so autistic, bro. Like it just induces like a massive sarcastic reaction from everyone.
Brutalist architecture.
Oh, dude, I bet I could do it if I posted something about like how like archaeology or not architecture needs to return to tradition because like we've lost the primitive sense of beauty that the Greeks and Romans used, you know, like some shit like that, right? Like some like return to tradition shit.
Yeah, you could possibly get it to get so it's just like so fucking blasé that people just ignore it. But like I posted a single letter as a tweet to see if I like to prove a point, and like it got like 10 likes. Like I put like the letter like Q or something, and I didn't put Q.
I bet I could shill like a product that's like really bad.
Shilling a product, honestly, you probably get 0 likes shilling our own podcast faster than we get 0 likes.
I bet if I posted the Patreon link, I could get 0 likes.
That's so fucking. It's probably true though.
It's literally such like an absurd drop off between like when you're just posting content with nothing in it versus when you're like shilling something directly. The goal is figuring out like how do we shill without having people realize we're shilling, right?
Yes, exactly.
We have to do the ghost shill.
Dude, the raccoon videos are doing
is this
pretty
just
well.
you? Is the what?
The raccoon videos, people like those because they're cute, and then I feel like those are working a little bit.
That's funny. We tried to have a structured podcast today, and we just fucking failed so hard, dude.
It's not for us. We're not that kind of person.
This has literally been like lay epic fail, dude. Like like face palm, rage comic guy. Like we fucked up. And we came in and like I don't know. I had like 2 or 3 subjects that I was gonna talk about. We didn't talk about any. We just talked about like boring like crypto hardware wallet shit that we're probably gonna have to like cut out at the beginning because it was so like. It was just like so uninteresting.
We can't be put in a box, bro. That's not us. We can't be put in a box.
It did not work at all. And now we're getting to the questions, and we're flowing hard here on the questions, I've got to say. But the other thing, the other topic, so Miladies, the NFT collection, the Remelia NFT collection, right? There was an NFT marketplace that allowed people to take out loans on their Miladies, which means like you can lock your Milady with them, and you can take out an amount of Ethereum equivalent to like what the Milady is worth, right? This is awesome, right? Because it lets you free up the liquidity that is inherently locked in an NFT, which is an illiquid asset, right? So you can lock your Milady in this thing, you can take out money, and then you can buy things with it, right? Awesome. However, what we did not think about was that this allows us to set off the world's first NFT liquidation cascade.
The liquidation cascade is so funny.
So for those of you who don't know what a liquidation cascade is, basically, when you take out the loan on your NFT and then the NFT goes below the price that you so like let's say you have an NFT worth 3 Ethereum. You get a loan out for 3 Ethereum, and then the price goes down to 2 Ethereum, right? Your loan is now underwater, and the protocol calls back your loan within 24 hours, or else you have to start paying interest on it, right? So what happens if you can't pay back your loan, which is typically what happens, right? Because if you, frankly, nobody's going to be paying back their loan, because if you put in this thing, and they give you 3 Ethereum, and your thing is now worth 2 Ethereum, you're just going to let them keep your asset, and you'll keep the 3 Ethereum, right? It's a better deal for you. So everybody just decided to default on their loans, which means that now all of these lenders have all of these Miladies that are worth less than they collateralize them for. So they take them and they just instantly dump them into bids on Blur, which means you're selling, which means the price is going down even more. So everybody else who had loans gets even more sell pressure. So it just keeps happening over and over until all of the loans are liquidated. So what we did was we set off the world's first NFT liquidation cascade and drove the price of Miladies from like 6 Ethereum down to like 3 over the course of like 2.5 days. And it's so much funnier because it's not like a liquidation on a centralized exchange where you get liquidated as soon as the price goes below your liquidation range, because they give you 24 hours to pay it back. It's like horrifyingly drawn out in slow motion. So it's like somebody gave you like a drug that like dilates time like 10,000, and you're sitting there in slow motion, like watching the price just go down incrementally, little bit by little bit, as everyone capitulates.
That's so funny. I love it though. Milady would do that. I knew this was going to be a bad idea when I started seeing like every single Milady was giving 0% interest loans. Okay, this is not going to turn out well.
Everyone was like, well, I mean, because that is the thing. Like, it is ridiculous. They were offering 0% interest loans because the idea is that like the exchange was incentivizing the lenders to give out these loans that make no financial sense because they were rewarding them with points. that can be used to win an airdrop that might have money in it later. Like it's this like massive.
And then there's also like the other part of it. It's like everyone who's taking the loan is buying the milady, so you're implicitly saying that like you're implicitly running up the entire like ecosystem. So for the person who's lending, that is that's like it would make sense. But if I remember correctly, I can't remember if it's taking a borrowing or lending. But I think lending is shorting. So it actually doesn't make any like I'm pretty sure a short is lending money. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. It might be the other way around. But either way, what the 0% interest loans incentivize the liquidation event because everyone who's lending money is effectively shorting it. Everyone who's lending money from their miladies is effectively shorting the asset. Or maybe they're shorting Ethereum. I can't fucking remember. Either way, the incentives are misaligned. So it fucks everything up.
I wouldn't say they're shorting it.
Shorting is if I can't remember if it's lending or borrowing. The thing is, I can't remember if shorting is lending or borrowing.
Well, so I guess the thing is like, if you lend somebody money for a milady and then the price of the milady goes up, you make money, right? Because you're now lending somebody.
Okay, yeah. So it's borrowing.
You now have greater collateral than the amount that you've loaned out.
Yes.
So it. I don't know if it's like longing technically, but you're certainly benefiting from positive price action, or at least your risk exposure goes down with positive price action.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what's happening is if you're borrowing Ethereum off your milady as collateral, you're shorting. You want your milady to go up. So you're shorting Ethereum.
Well, I mean, like I don't know if it's necessarily like you're taking a directional position on either one, because like if you take out a 0% interest loan on your milady and the price goes up, then theoretically you can still just get your milady back and repay the loan whenever. However, if the price goes down, you can just default on your loan and keep the money, right? Like it's essentially like a perfect hedge for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which is why everyone was doing it, right? Like if you think the price is going to go down, you should just like take out.
There you go. So it is shorting milady. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I know it wasn't crazy. Yeah, so if you're effectively benefiting off the price of milady going down, you get more money in cash, right? So that is a short on milady. So it's actually they created the liquidation cascade by making the 0 interest loan.
If you're the one who is lending your milady, not the one if you're the one who is giving the loan out for the milady.
Yes. Exactly. That's what I meant. That's why it got all confusing. Yes, the person who is lending their milady is the one who is shorting.
Yeah.
But so they effectively pushed the liquidation cascade. The inherent mechanism of this whole thing is pushing it. Created the
and it was so funny too, because we were at like peak euphoria there, and everyone was like, "Dude, like invest in Remelia. There's no way you can lose money." And it was also funny because like we didn't even like it wasn't even like a big retrace. Like the price went back to where it was like 5 days before, but like because it was such a big walk back, there were so many new people who got like totally washed out.
Yeah, so it goes. That's the fun of this like in between market, fucking crab market. You got to do stupid shit like this. This is where all the fun's had.
It was very funny.
It is very funny.
So now the next question here. I never really asked the thing or answered the thing about like which tweet do I regret the most, but like it's kind of the same, right? Like I don't know. I don't really know if I have any like super regretted tweets. There weren't any that were like, I don't know, like none of the disgusting ones. My most regretted tweet would probably just be like some like shitty thing that I posted and then deleted, like just some like totally like mediocre tweet that wasn't like it wouldn't even be funny to talk about. It would just be like, oh wow, like that was a mid tweet, dude.
Yeah, mediocre tweets are the most embarrassing.
Yeah.
I either want to fail in style or succeed.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the two extremes. You can't mid curve it. So then we have, do you eat ass?
Yes. Next question. Next question. I kind of think, grown man. Sorry.
Because you're a grown man.
Because I'm a grown man. I'm not scared of this. I'm not scared of ass. I eat what's served to me. My mother told me to always eat what was served to my plate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've never really had like an issue with this because like I don't think I've ever like dated a girl who would have like wanted me to. So it's not something that I've ever really like considered.
It's probably wise.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're all sitting there being like, God, I mean,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Biologically speaking, if we're gonna speak on a, it's all fucking the same anyway, right? If we're like bacterially, everything's getting mixed around. It's like a blender down there. So what's the difference? You know, you got the same shit is on your plate either way.
Yeah, I guess my main worry would be like, like on principle, right? Like there's some girls, I bet they have like anal ringworm or some shit, right? Like looking at them, I'm like, that bitch 100% has like anal parasites.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you got to make sure that first off, you got to give your girl a parasite cleansing. That's the first thing, and then you've got to put her on like a 3-month ivermectin trial before you start venturing. Get your girl on ivermectin. That's the first track. And then, once you did her like cycling of ivermectin, then hey, you're good to go. Next question. We're like fucking doctors over here, bro. We got this.
How do you get your friends to stop thinking like an incel?
Oh, you can't. They're fucking. It's over for them. I've literally never seen this. I've never seen it work in my life. Have you ever been able to successfully convince an incel to stop being incel? They have to like just have the epiphany.
Well, like I don't. It appears by the framing of this question that he's not actually calling him an incel, and he isn't actually an incel. Like he would have said, "How do I convince my friend to stop being an incel?" If that was it, right? But he's saying, "Stop thinking like an incel," which makes me think that he's one of the. There's like the tier of guys like the beta primes where they're like able to have sex and stuff, and they're able to like participate in the whole like casual sex charade. But they can't necessarily get like a good girl who loves them, and they're generally still like overall pretty like not up on women. So that's what makes me feel he's probably falling in that. Yeah, it is sort of like you kind of just have to do it. But like a lot of these guys wind up in the position of like, oh, it's like humiliating to participate in all of this and like get your shit burned. And it's like, well, like. It kind of is, I guess, but like
that's how it is for everything, though. What in life doesn't require humiliating yourself with intense amount of repetition, so you stop humiliating yourself? Everything. Yep. That's how everything works. So that's always funny to me when people are like, "I don't want to do this with girls." It's just like it's every single thing in life has the exact same skill tree, not skill tree. It's like same step
developmental pathway.
Exactly. It has the same pathway. So it's like. There's no avoiding it. You just fucking keep doing it until you start doing it well eventually.
I think you have to like I don't know, because I have like a few people who I would consider pretty good friends who have either been in or are in this specific phase of their life. And it's hard because they all sort of think of themselves as like turbo enlightened for it, and they think of everyone else as like retarded normies for thinking the way that they do. And it's hard to explain that like no, like you're actually like the immature one here. Like everyone has had this phase somewhere between the age of like 11 and like 25. It's just that like everybody else sort of like
got over
grew past it because it's not like like
it's not productive, dude. You're just being you're being a brat. It's unbecoming.
It's like these people are off, like, bro. It's like my version of like risk aversion applied to like trading and shit like that, but like applied to women instead.
Yes, it is risk aversion. Yeah, you're effectively just scared, and you're scared of the rejection or the possibility, whatever concoction of bad shit is in your head. So you've now rationalized your choice of not making those attempts. But that's just not productive. It's like what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? Like literally think of like the worst possible thing that could happen. She rejects you publicly. She fucking humiliates you. She says you have a little dick. I don't know what
she cheats on you with your best friend and tells everyone your penis is small and that you have premature ejaculation and that she suspects you're gay and that she pissed on you.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's the worst possible thing that could happen. But you're not dead after that. You're not good. You're not dead. You're still eating. You still have your bros. It's fine. Like the worst scenario, the worst case scenario in all of this is like pretty mild comparatively to basically anything else. Like even in trading, like, the worst case scenario is like you're fucking like homeless.
You lose all of your money.
You lose everything. You can't afford food. Like that's like actual stakes, right? The worst thing that could possibly happen is like, oh, you feel sad for a week. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine, bro. Keep it, just do your thing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's also this sense with all of these people too that like, I don't know. They're just like afraid to like take any sort of like a public L, which is like, it's not like, pussy. And it's like some behavior. Sort of like weird, I don't know, like pride, nobility thing, which is, it's like fine, I guess. But like the thing is that, literally everyone has like taken the public L's, and you are kind of in control of whether or not like they're actually an L or they're just like this funny side quest. Because bro, also, like you could very easily make the whole thing very funny, right? Like there's no way that you can get curved badly enough that it isn't funny.
Yes, exactly. Also, 90% of the time, I'd say like maybe it's like one, if you're in a normal place that's not like New York City, and even in New York City, 90% of the time you get curved, it's like so mellow. Like the girl kind of feels bad for curving you anyway, so like you can kind of laugh it off and like move on with your day, right? Like, or she'll be nice about it. Like those few situations where they're fucking brutal, like you'll see that in New York City where girls will just be mean, right? Even then, it's kind of funny because then now you can also like have a story, and now they're an adversary, so you're like, oh, fuck you anyway. You don't really care anymore. Like it's fine. Like there's really no downside to giving it a shot. You'll be fine. Also, like, oh, stop watching fucking TikToks of girls on fucking podcasts talking about body counts or whatever the fuck these fucking weeds are doing nowadays. It's like it's so you guys are watching like the fourth generation recycled red pill content. It's so cringe. Stop it.
It's funny. It's funny because like you get to literally like I remember all of the like the red pill alpha manosphere guys from like the 2000s and shit. And like it's just been so funny to watch like the average vernacular that all of these groups use like gradually become like dumber and dumber. Like the Lexile score of like the average manosphere blogger in like, and the same thing has happened actually like the conservative movement overall. But like the like reading level of the average discourse just plummets. Like every 10 years, it just gets lower and fucking lower. And we're now at the point where like you used to have people writing like academic dissertations on like hypergamy and shit like that. And now you just have like 105 IQ podcasters bringing on like a bunch of like totally fucking hammered bar sluts and being like, how many boyfriends have you had in the last 3 months? Like, it's just so comically bad.
Bro, I saw one yesterday about this girl who like they asked her like, oh, something about your ex or whatever. She's like, oh, I just got done being engaged for 3 years. And they're like, what the fuck? That was your like husband. Like, why'd you get engaged? She's like, oh, I wanted to move to Miami. He didn't want to join me. And they're like, what the fuck? Like you dumped your husband so that you could fucking be a whore? It was like the funny, like it was so stupid. It was like, and the people that you're visualizing now saying everything, it's exactly what they look like. It was some fucking like party bro with like a backwards cap and like shades and like some like fucking bar chick. Like it was like, it's just so ridiculous. I was like, oh my god, bro! You guys are just, and everyone's like, "I'm so black pilled. It's a state of women." Shut the fuck, dude, bro. Just log off. Log off. Go outside, dude.
I like oftentimes thought about like having like a Verse and Lucas podcast episode where we just bring on like 5 OnlyFans girls and we just ask them like what's the longest dick that you've sucked? Like, oh my god, I'm so black pilled, dude. 15 inches. Oh my god, it's over. Like,
so black.
Just do like you know how it always like turns into some like vaguely like cuckold fetish type thing.
Yeah.
Like just ask them like anything, like gradually get closer and closer to like if we dated right now, would you cheat on me with my brother? Oh my god, you would. That's so fucked up. Like, and then start playing like masturbating sound effects in the background. Like,
it's so fucking lame, bro. It's so and then like start doing like weird math, like, yeah, so like, all right, you had an 8-inch dick, that's fine, but like if you think about it, the average person with a 4-inch dick can thrust four times as much in the same 3-minute period. So
you're like a mathematical breakdown of like the volumetric cock mass that's been like in and out of some girl, and then just, oh my god, I'm so black. It's over. That's an equivalent biomass to 3 elephants, bro.
The microchimerism is the same as getting blasted with a fucking elephant. Like, oh my god, it'd be so funny.
I need to start I gradually I've been bringing it back in like more and more absurd ways. Like I tweeted about how you're like permanently soul bonded to anyone that you've had sex with, and if you when you go to heaven, you're going to be conjoined at the waist to all of them like Siamese twins. So you have to make sure not to like fuck any of the fat ones, or else they're gonna go and they're gonna keep eating in heaven, and they're gonna make your heaven body obese.
No, man, you're gonna lose the 3-legged race in heaven.
That's what I want to just like gradually take like the concept of microchimerism and like apply it to everything, right? Like not just like, you know, because it's boring to just say like, oh, it's applied to like DNA or whatever. It's more fun to apply to like literally fucking everything. And it's especially bad because there's some people who like you know, I'm not gonna name names, but there's some people definitely who like in group chats with us where like they start dating someone and you can tell like they've like you know, like I'm no longer speaking to like I'm not speaking to this girl anymore. Like I'm speaking to my friend who's dating them.
Yes, I've seen that many times. Quite a few times. All right, let's see. What's the next question? While we're on a roll here. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we do. So we got Lucas, could you explain the distinction between high T individuals and tweakers' affinity for fat women? So this is actually kind of a mysterious one for me, because like there is sort of like this this meme of like the skinny tweaker guy liking fat women, but like in my experience, the tweakers never actually went for fat women. They always went for fucking like tweaker women.
Yeah, so who are typically skinny.
Yeah, and like certainly like when I was experiencing my my mild tweaker phase there, that was definitely like the period of like the lowest BMI women that I ever interacted with on like a consistent basis, right? Like I wasn't really fatty farming during this period. So I think honestly the tweaker affinity for fat women thing is sort of like a meme. I've never seen that before. I think what it gets mixed up with is like there's a difference between like a tweaker and a low socioeconomic status, like skinny white trash loser guy, right? So those guys I think do actually like fat women more. But when they start using meth, I think that goes away. or maybe the type of guys who use meth, it doesn't exist. Therefore, definitely like the high T guys liking fat women. That is totally
real.
Thing.
That's 100%. The guy gets out of prison. The fucking guy who's been doing a fucking round of D-ball. Yeah, he wants fucking.
Yeah. Like the easiest way to check this one is like, guy starts using testosterone. Average weight of women guy starts being interested in just fucking like skyrockets, like it balloons. It's like it's like the Ethereum price over time chart in like the 2017 cycle.
17,
it's just going straight up, man. It's like a massive god candle, up 99.9% on the hour, like just insane. So that definitely does exist. And I honestly like, I don't know. I mean, we've tried explaining this in a bajillion different ways, but like, I think basically like the higher your T, the more tolerant you become to anything.
I think that's really what it is. You're just tolerant to everything.
And it also sort of goes from like aristocratic preference for like shapely, like well-formed type things to just like big, like give me the fucking biggest tits, dude. Like God, I knew I knew a bunch of guys on the wrestling team, and it would literally be like this, where they would be like normal, then they start using steroids, and like they see some fucking like 400-pound woman and they're like, holy fuck, look at her tits, and you look at her and you're like, well, yeah, but the rest of her is like grotesque and like monstrous. And they would be like, dude, I don't care, man. Her tits are bigger than my fucking, they're bigger than fucking half my body, man. Like, they would just be like, holy shit, dude, those tits are like that's like a 50-pound breast right there. And they just get like totally lost in just chasing the absolute size of like the biggest
Titty
possible
like a Thanksgiving
tits.
ham, bro.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a Thanksgiving turkey. That's so funny.
That's whereas like and it was like they didn't even like see the body that it was attached to. They were just imagining like floating on this sea of breasts.
That's so funny. Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to know about that. So, but I kind of get it. I get it I definitely, when I was in peak like creatine mode, that's as close as I've gotten. You definitely notice the ballooning beginning.
The ballooning beginning.
The
ballooning in your preferences, or
yeah, when you're taking the creatine, because that does like affect testosterone too, right?
I think it jacks up your DHT more so than your testosterone, but I'm not positive. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, definitely like, and you can also tell just like you know, like you know which of your friends are like high T and which aren't high T, right? And it's like this isn't well. A lot of people just generally associate like high T with like good now, so I guess that's wrong. But
I don't know. I think it's a weird association. Well, it's good, I guess, to be high T, I suppose, but in a way, it's not.
In some way, yeah. I mean, like that's the thing. There's a really big downside that comes with it, right? Like,
yeah, like you're more likely to have
like all of the guys who I would describe as like high T definitively. It's like, dude, you're like 35 years old and you're still like out here like chasing around like affairs on your wife and like just spending so much time like logistically covering up like weird sexual escapades you're having. And, like, I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of glad that I'm not really falling into this category, because it's just sort of like a huge fucking waste of time that winds up like, you know, and it's like there's never a situation where even in like a totally casual relationship with a girl who you don't even really like that much, like there's never really a situation where like cheating on the girl and then continuing the relationship is like good, right? Like there's no. It's just it's outside. Not worth. There's never been like a cheating sex that I've ever had where I've been like, oh yeah, like I'm so glad that I did that, and I'm also glad that I stayed in the relationship, right? Like never.
You're owning yourself with now. You got to deal with that shit. Unless you have a little bit of psychopathy, you just don't care. So maybe it's fine then, but. Most of us would have to deal with the guilt.
Yeah, this was something that I figured out very, very early on in college, was that it's just like, it's not like if you really genuinely think that this whole cheating thing is a good idea, you should probably just leave your girlfriend, because like you know, why
it's gonna happen anyway. You might as well just save yourself the dramatic version.
Yeah, it's not a great idea.
Yeah.
And it's especially bizarre when you wind up with like 40-year-old men doing this and you're like, I don't know, dude. Seems like a bizarre waste of time.
Mm-hmm. High stakes waste of time. Well, maybe the stakes adds to it. Right now,
I mean, yeah, that is like the fun thing of it, right? Is like going for the thrill and all of that stuff. But like, it's just such a quick degradation, right? Like, it's like it's literally like IV drugs. Like it starts being shitty like right after you've injected. It's all downhill, right? Like right after you bust, like it's just like
it goes straight off a cliff.
Yeah, like, yeah. And you're just like, I am not sure if this was great. And then you can just go and try and ignore it forever. But now it's like, you know, there's this permanent logistical thing, right? There's this girl who you're permanently hoping like, oh, I sure hope that she doesn't like show up in my life in an inconvenient way ever again. Like, I sure hope I don't run into her when I'm like walking around the mall with my girlfriend.
Oh my God, that sounds horrible. This has never been for me. It just sounds like it just sounds like like just a lot of fucking hassle.
I think the only way it's like slightly maintainable is like if you're like a guy who travels a lot for work and you do it like a lot on business trips and stuff. But then it's also like, I don't know. I think girls usually aren't like stupid, you know, and they start associating like a business trip with like, suddenly he's giving me a lot less attention, and then he comes back and yeah,
he's like showering me with gifts because he feels bad. Yeah, they all figure it out. Let's see. We have any more questions?
We do. We have the final question is, Lucas, can you explain why you hate Latinas?
Great way to end it.
I know, and this really is one of those things where I'm not sure if this is something that I can even admit to. Like maybe it's not even true. Maybe I don't hate Latinas. Is that like, is hating Latinas like a violation of YouTube's
I don't know. It might be. Is it a
service?
violation of terms and services?
Is that like racism? That seems like something that like that seems like something that a female CEO would say is like some sort of racism.
But it's specifically the Latinas, so it's not racism per se. It seems like it's definitely intersectional.
It's racist and sexist.
Yeah, yeah. So there's definitely I don't know. That might be a loophole if you have intersectional hate.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of it got to be like with the and like I don't know how much of this is like from the root of it versus how much of it is like downstream of like, the Latina meme about how they're so like aggressive or like, oh my God, like the like in your face yelling all of this stuff. And now like all the fucking Latinas I know are just always all about this like, yeah, like I'm such a like Latina bro, I'm so crazy. And they've like memed themselves into just being like horribly fucking obnoxious.
Yeah. And see, that is a classic thing that happens. This is a classic thing that happens, not just with Latinos. I mean, this happens to this is a reoccurring theme I see across all the races at the moment, where they're just memeing themselves into being toxic. But Latinas, as an inherent meme to the Latina, are incredibly toxic and like volatile. So it's very, very pronounced when they do it, right? Because they're playing into a very like to a meme of volatility.
Well, the thing that really gets me is like there will be a lot of these girls who like I can kind of feel like naturally from their personality, they're not like super firecracker people, right? And they would all deny this if I would ask it to them. They would all say, no, like I'm a super mad, like super angry, aggressive person. But like just like from like talking to them and interacting with them, they don't appear to be this way. But then they all self-describe this way now because it's like how Latinas have been like memed into being. And so it's just that like this like collective mass delusion where they're all like trying to do this like weird, bizarre racial class alignment meme that like doesn't necessarily line up all the time. And like I also
they're all trying to be Dominican and Puerto Rican. They're all trying to be islanders in their behavior, but they're not. Like the only Latinas that are actually crazy like this are the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans. They're crazy. The Cubans a little less so, and then everyone else. The further you get down Central and South America, the more like legitimately like quiet and meek the countries get. Like you've never met a Chilean who's like crazy. They're like very nice people. They're very like this meme is very like island spicy, dependent. Maybe a little bit of Mexico, but that's it.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that is probably a bigger factor though is that every single race of girls has like sort of a given propensity towards like, I don't want to say like playful, abstract, hypothetical joke stuff. I don't know if that's like descriptive of anything, but like like sort of like abstract
banter.
Yeah, like abstract banter type stuff, and Latinas really don't like getting abstract with things. They really, really, really dislike it. And I really enjoy it. So there's like a big, like a big part of like the thing that I consider to be like a fun interaction back and forth with girls. They just flat out don't like to participate in. And so it's like, it's not like I can't talk to them flat out. Yeah. But it's like, it's just like less enjoyable for me overall. But yeah, there's plenty of great Latinas out there, I'm sure. I'm not a fan of the memes that we have forced on these people, and I wish that they would just not do them anymore because it's really I don't know, man. Like imagine if white girls started fucking owning up all the memes about white girls, dude. It would be the most insufferable horse shit of my entire life.
Well, they've started doing that. TikTok has become this. I mean, I don't know if you don't go on TikTok as much as I do. But you fall into the lanes where you start seeing like for some of my TikTok right now is falling into this lane of like the different ethnicities doing this, and it's just becoming, and they're just becoming fucking. Because
Asian girls do this thing where they like they're like owning their memes too, and that shit like also is like equally as like You know, like, oh god, wow, you're such a submissive, like, epic waifu. Wow, you're cooking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, math. Oh, you want to be like, it's just
I hate it all. It's like we just like dynamic people who are multidimensional, and I think that's a good thing. It's not that he hates Latinas; it's that he likes people with more than one, who are not one.
I like people with a
fucking-
personality that wasn't derived specifically from like some racial stereotype that they saw on TikTok.
I think it's a very fair thing to say. Actually, look at that. He actually went full circle, and he actually has the most woke possible take on this matter. I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
know.
that's good.
I haven't actually had. I guess I just haven't had a lot of exposure to like black women recently, but like they also historically have been like really low in terms of like pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
Which like
low and pissing you off? Wait, is it low and pissing you off mean like they do it more often or less often?
less often. Like it's which like, you know, most of right wing Twitter just is like always complaining about, oh, like they're delusional and they're loud and all of these things. And I'm not gonna say whether or not that may be true or false or whatever, but like just in interpersonal interactions with them, there have been like a low number of times where I felt like this entire thing is so contrived and painful and embarrassing. Like it feels like real, right? Like it feels like I'm engaging with someone who's being like upfront about shit as opposed to just like LARPing their whole existence.
Well, I feel like this is the thing that happens with most of American culture. A lot of the stuff that hits mainstream, black people did like 10 years earlier. Not because necessarily mostly because black people invented a lot of American culture, like a lot of like the pop culture stuff, like the TikTok trends, the slang, etc. So
did they start that like serving cunt shit that goes on that like gay people do now? Because
girls,
like
yes,
because that's been like my most hated pathway is like black pop culture to the gay culture.
And then gay culture is still everyone else.
Yeah, and then it's just so fucking awful. And then you have
Riz, simping, serving cunt, all that shit, like
Based was stolen from black Twitter by Nazis. That was like the funniest thing.
Almost the entirety of American slang is black origin. I mean, there's more Asian shit getting involved because of the K-pop stans and the anime, but predominantly it's black people. Right. So this whole meme that's happening right now, I don't know if you would remember this, but this was this was a thing that was happening to black people like 2012. This whole like feeding into the stereotypes thing that now, I mean, like this particular brand of it, like I'm whatever. I think they just have moved on to the new meme that will be disseminated into everyone else's software update later. So they're like black people are like the Linux users of pop culture memes. So they're just dealing with the the firmware
Ubuntu
updates
users.
and
yeah
they're the Ubuntu users. They just have a little bit more. They're just a little ahead of the curve there.
I hope so.
But there's a lot more bugs involved. What did you say? The Ubuntu. That's clever. That's actually pretty clever.
The meme was always that Ubuntu was like the black Linux distribution because it was like the most handholdy and easy. But also, it's like, isn't it like an African word for something? I don't know.
I don't know if it might be. It sounds like an African word. That's pretty funny though. They are.
In college, I was in a Linux club for a while, and there was one of the database files that you could only unlock by typing in the password, which was like Ubuntu is for N-words. But it was like spelled out. But it was funny because it was like the school's like official club password, and just like everybody in the club was just fine with it.
Oh my god, good for them.
It was a really, really funny place to find like an extreme bastion of like total tolerance for like massive racism. The Linux Club.
The Linux Club. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? And oh, dude, fuck, Indian women actually, I have to say, are probably up there for the other ones who do like really obnoxious shit to me.
Really?
Yeah. They've always. I had. I mean, you know my major in college, right? Like I was around a lot of Indian people and consequently their girlfriends. And if there was ever an option to just make it into a guy's night out, or it was just like, it wasn't even like, I wasn't even doing it out of like being on my incel shit. It was just like they were like just weird and mean and nasty. It was very, and boring. That was the other thing. It was just the most consistently boring group of women that I've ever interacted with.
Largely agree with, actually. And you would think it wouldn't be the case, considering how weird Bollywood is. And I also grew up with a lot of Indian chicks.
Yeah, no, that was always, it was so bizarre because I was like, everything about like your culture is like weird and
very vibrant.
Yeah, but like they were just like, there was just nothing. And maybe it was like a language gap. I don't know. Maybe I'm coping for them, but it was just not, it was not great.
A little bit dry of a people for people with a very vibrant culture. You would think that they'd be a little less dry. Now, sometimes you get like really, but even I know a lot of Indian people too, because I studied like math, right? So like, and also like I grew up in an Indian neighborhood. They are not as people pretty like even like I don't know tepid. Like they're not like I don't really know too many like particularly weird Indian people or like particularly zany.
Yeah, I would
like,
say they're all pretty culturally aligned and stuff. And like the only thing is like there's a big fucking like if you've ever been in a company that has like a population of Indians, there's 100% like a critical mass where like once you get enough Indians, they instantly organize around this like extremely nepotistic corporate structure and they start like promoting only Indians and they start forming like Indian social clubs and groups and stuff, and it just like it becomes a really really weird like hostile work environment to work there if you're not Indian, and it just fucking instantly happens one day.
Yeah, you got taken over. The Punjabi paradigm shift has taken many souls.
It's really bizarre. Yeah, it's extremely bizarre.
I've never been in a company that big, so I don't know. But I can say that from middle school, like our middle school, like at least in my particular class, because I was in like the nerd class, it was predominantly Indian. There's like 2 of the accelerated classes. They were almost entirely Indian. So yeah, there was a lot of like inside shit we just didn't know. That wasn't like privy to. They didn't like tell you shit. They had their own thing going on.
There was an Indian frat at my school that would, and I guess was like adopted by them in some capacity due to some sort of, I don't know, just Brahmin aura, I guess. But they would literally steal the exam like answer keys from every single like STEM class, and they would all sit in like the back row every time, and they would all just pass every single exam with 100% every time. And somehow no professor or teacher or TA ever noticed that the same group of guys for 4 years would all just ace every single exam without ever attending class or studying.
I wish I had like a better accent right now, because this is when I would do like a Indian Tony Soprano type of situation, but I don't have it. I can't do accents for shit, and it really sucks because there's a lot of like where we have a podcast. There's a lot of situations where an accent would be a very a very appreciated comedic boon, but we just fuck it up all the time. Yeah, it's fucking over.
We can't do anything.
Practice that. We're just not that. We're just 2 fucking boring nerds. That's the problem with us. But I'm glad you guys listen anyway. Appreciate it.
For some reason, and we've now gone on for 2 hours, which we were only going to try. We were going to try and do a condensed podcast today, right? Like we were going to try and do like a 1 hour, a 1 hour podcast recording, so that we could. Because what we're going to try and do here for you, our dear listeners, is we're going to try and record once a week, which maybe you didn't know, but we've been recording like once every month for like 5 hours, and then we chop it up. And we're going to instead try to chop it up into like once a week so that we can touch on like the relevant things that have happened on the timeline, right? And fuck, we forgot all about it. Dude, we forgot all about Ben.eth raising literally $20 million by posting like, hey guys, I'm doing a token pre-sale. Send me money and I will send you tokens to your wallet as part of the pre-sale. And he literally got $20 million raised from people just sending him money.
Why doesn't it work when we do it? Like, it's so
I haven't tried to do it.
I did try to do it, but then I guess I did it too quickly after Gucci bucket hat. But like send me money.
Gucci got like fucking like he started off with like 200K and then ran it up to like 400K and then ran it up to like a mil. Like all of these guys Yeah, like all of these guys have literally just said like, I'm doing a token pre-sale. Give me money and I'll give you tokens. And like it's fucking worked. And I feel like such an idiot. I've been out here like grinding, trying to find some like shitcoin gem for like 30K win or something like that. And they're just like posting their wallet like send money, boys. And everyone's doing it. And this guy has launched 3 tokens now. And he just keeps saying,
bro?
His first one, I forget what his first one was. His second one was PSYOP, and his last one is like loyalty or something.
He's a PSYOP guy. Oh, I see. That's why.
Yeah.
And
it was so funny. So he didn't even use, like, he raised like 13 million, and then he put like 150,000 into the liquidity pool, and then just like kept the rest of it. He kept the like 12.8 million, dude. It was so funny.
That is so funny.
He just bought like $500,000 of bonklers today.
Oh, that was him? Oh,
yeah. Like people gave him money and he's just using it to like sweep bonklers and knock amigos and shit, bro.
Well, that's what I would do too. Shit. I mean, like if you send 20 fucking mil, bro, we need to figure out a way to do this. I don't understand why the two of them are able to pull it off and we can't.
I think
just send me money.
I might be coping, dude, but I think there's like negative karmic penalty to like scamming a bunch of idiots into sending you $20 million.
There is.
Like, and maybe I'm just scared to try. Like, maybe this is just me being scared to try. But like, literally, I think that if we did that, not only would we lose the money instantly through like one of us would like get hit by a car, and we would instantly accumulate like $50 million of medical bills or some stupid shit like that. Or like we would get wallet drained, something. It seems like
these people always something bad. They become targets, right? So then all the black hat people.
I think he's literally like the 3rd biggest holder of Ethereum on mainnet, other than like fucking Vitalik.
That's crazy.
I don't think anyone else has 20 million in ETH, bro.
That's actually a really good point. Oh no, maybe Kobe. Well,
but like all those guys split their wallets up.
Yeah, no, but I've seen his wallet. Well, I saw it at the peak of the bull market, not now. But I saw his wallet. It had like 100 mil at the time. So I don't know what it would be now, but he had 100 mil when I saw it was like 145 mil when I saw his wallet.
But like in Ethereum?
In Ethereum, yeah.
Oh.
That's excluding like, that was like, I mean, Kobe is like, he's in like the inside. But when he was buying Milady's back when Milady was like, 0.1, we saw his wallet. We're like, oh, okay.
Damn.
Yeah, Kobe's like practically a billionaire because of all the shit he does outside of like trading.
What is that? What does he do outside of trading?
I don't know exactly, but I know he's in like the dev chat for Ethereum with Vitalik. He's in like he does like a lot of like behind the scenes shit with different companies. He's like obviously had up only. He does a few things, and enough of that like a lot of pre-seed stuff. A lot of like he's like a VC, I guess, at this point. So the combination of all these things, plus he's just been around for so long and holding, he's like has a fuck ton of money. Now this is again also peak bull market. He could have a lot less now, but he's definitely rich regardless. Like,
yeah, I don't think there's any way Kobe's broke.
Yeah, he'll never be broke again. But like he at some point, like towards the top of the bull market, he was looking like valuation like near a bill. The people were like, when they were doing the math on it, they were like, oh shit, wait a second.
That's horrifying.
That is horrifying. So
it's like I'm like, how many times do I have to multiply my net worth by 10 to get? Fuck.
It's like, yeah. Some people are just better than you. There's grandmasters at chess, There's a big difference between the top 1% and the top.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my thing is just like I either need to do more or do less. I'm in this weird middle point of like I should be like doing a ton and like experience maxing, or I should just be like focusing on like hashtag like building, like not trading at all. Just like, I'm going to build, bro. Like, I'm here to build, bro. Like, let's build, bro. Like that shit.
Yeah, it's tough to figure out. The balance is difficult. I mean, I feel like we should build. I think building has the most ROI. It's just that, what the fuck do you build that's not a scam? And then like, we just can't build. We don't have the brains to build a scam properly. That's the thing. There's a specific type of like mindset you have to build a proper scam that neither of us truly have. So that's also a problem. So yeah, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way, unfortunately, where you just build, fucking grind it up, and hopefully
build an actually quality product and hope that somebody buys it.
Yeah, It's so cringe and gay. I wish we were built different, but so it goes.
It is a little silly of us that we never launched a shitcoin, I guess, but I think the way to do it with a shitcoin also is like not to launch it like you and me. Like I think you're supposed to like create its own account and never reveal who like promoted it, right? Like
that's a good point.
It's supposed to be like a secret you take to your grave because there's no way to like release a shitcoin without burning your reputation on it.
Exactly. But then again, yeah, you pretend it's the anonymous dev, and then we just shill it. We found it early,
or like not even shill it, right? Like
buying. Those someone has to shill it.
The account can chill it. The account can chill it.
Oh, the account itself.
The token's account.
The token's account, exactly. Well, one day we'll make something worthwhile.
Maybe if this isn't over now forever.
It's not over. It always comes back. I
still have no idea where the market is at right now. We've been in this like absolutely cursed range for so long, man. And then once the halving starts we broke out. We finally fucking broke out of the range yesterday, and we just dropped back into it again. So it's like,
this is the hardest part of any market is the sideways shit between two different market cycles, and this is when people get chopped to death. This is when you just dollar cost average and wait for the bull market again. Unfortunately, there's no fun to be had.
This is why I need my hardware wallet, bro.
Yes, exactly. This is when the hardware wallet hits.
This is when I need to drain my 401k, bro. This is when I need to take out.
Yes, this is when you need to drain the 401k.
Although I don't know, dude. Fucking stocks have been they've been ripping, dude.
Stonks? Oh, I haven't been on stonks in a minute.
Dude, I looked at my 401k and I was like, whoo. Woo!
We're so back.
We are doing good.
You know it's bad when you start like getting back at the day trade, like
right when I actually look at like the standard stock market, like crypto is fucked.
Mm-hmm. That happened to me last year too. But then that's when like it was like a month after that all of a sudden everything came back. So
you saw Nvidia, right?
Yeah, I saw Nvidia, but
Nvidia had like the massive god candle. But yeah, it's obviously overvalued, right?
But well, they're also it's taking. This is what Woody Calls told me. I don't know if you remember Novus, but Nvidia. He was like long Nvidia. Like he said this like a year and a half ago. He's like,
if he was long Nvidia and he held it like a year and a half ago, he made like $1 billion.
No, he legitimately was like, his whole thesis is like all of AI is run on Nvidia. So just put all your money into Nvidia. He's been saying that like endlessly for like a year. So I'm sure he's made a bunch of money. Honestly, and he does AI research. So like he's not like, I was thinking he was still was like, what the fuck you mean Nvidia? Nvidia's not gonna be that. He's like, all right, whatever. But I'm also just like contrarian against him because I like arguing.
Did he just buy stock or did he buy like options?
No, he just bought stock. I'm pretty sure he only bought stock. He's kind of risk averse. So
that sucks. He could have literally like, because like cold-blooded Schiller bought all of these fucking call options like the day before the earnings report, and he was just up like 500x, dude. Like that guy, I was feeling like turbo euphoria for him watching that candle just explode.
Good for him, but I've tried to play earnings before, and I've only eaten shit. I just do not. I will never play earnings again.
That was probably like the best risk reward of any trade ever. Was like that Nvidia call option right there at that day before the earnings report came out. Like that was literally. I don't want to say it was free money, dude, but it was.
Yeah, I mean, like after ChatGPT, it's like that's free money.
Yep. Yeah, I felt really stupid. I felt really stupid because like I saw everybody talking about Nvidia and I was like, why Nvidia? That doesn't make any sense. And then it finally occurred to me that it was like AI shit like the day after the candle, and I was just like, oh my God, I am so dumb. Why did I never ask anybody why they were? I could have just asked. I could have just DM'd Cold-Blooded Schiller and been like, bro, like what's the Nvidia thesis? And he would have been like, oh, AI retard. And I would have been like, oh, and I would have just bought, dude. I would have just bought instantly. Fuck.
It's crazy. Yeah, listen, there's always more opportunities. You just gotta not get blackpilled. There's always the hardest part. Yeah, there's always more opportunities. Especially with AI. We'll see the next one coming. It'd be fine.
Didn't we say that last time? I remember saying that like 8 episodes ago. Are we circularly coping? Is it ever going to end?
When he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore, right?